Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Moyo, sorry, since you're the first person to speak, right now I have paused the recording. The moment I say welcome to class, please remind me to start recording, please.
Okay, sir.
Because if I start recording now, there will just be like 5 minutes of nothing happening. So I want to start recording just when we're about to start the class. Please, everybody in class, please remind me that I should record though. Although it's recording on YouTube, if I'm correct. We're streaming both here and on YouTube simultaneously. So if for any reason, if um, the network is misbehaving, just go to YouTube. It will flow easily in YouTube, and you can rewind. You can rewind the live stream. Hello, is someone saying something? Okay, so I'm saying you can rewind on YouTube etc. Okay, I'm hearing feedback. Oh, shit. Let me mute. Just a minute. Let me mute the YouTube. Okay, all right. I was hearing myself on YouTube, so the thing was okay, okay. All right. We'll start any moment from now. Just a minute. Um, how do I keep this? Are you charging? Okay. Give me a minute. I'm looking for a setting. I need to admit people manually. I'm trying to set it such that anybody can like I don't have to manually approve because it just might distract us once class starts. I'm looking for that setting. I can't seem to find it. Mute participants on entry. Yeah. Enable. Oh, okay. I found it. Okay. Okay. All right. So I think anybody who joins now should be able to join freely without um, needing me to approve. Okay. Ooh, I forgot. Just a minute. Okay, I can do it in my phone. Okay. How come this person is not in the group? Jesus. No cool. Not cool at all. Okay. All right. I think all is set now. Yeah. Okay. How many of us on YouTube? There's just one person on YouTube. Why has everybody run away from YouTube to this place? Okay. We'll be fine. Okay. I guess we're ready to start now. Let's go. Control home. Okay. Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's class. This is day two of our 3 day script writing boot camp. For the record, my name is Damola Adenle again. I'm the director of Lagos Film School. Just to be sure, can you all hear me? Can we all see video? Can you hear me? And can you see the window I'm sharing? Please let me have some feedback. I thought we were using YouTube.
Yes,
Good
we can.
evening.
I can see you and I can hear you as well, sir.
All right, that's good. Um, I don't know what's happening with YouTube. Some say they can't hear me. Maybe it's because I muted it from here. But my mute, okay, I've released the audio. It was giving me feedback, meaning I was hearing echoes of myself, is why I removed the audio. But I've returned it back now. Should anybody want to do YouTube, I think YouTube should work now. Okay. All right. Moving on. So let's start the class proper. Um, I can't see my screen. I'm seeing myself, but can you see my screen though? I mean the Word document I put on the screen. I'm sharing my screen. Can we all see it?
Yes, I can see the screen. I can see you as well. I'm
All
seeing
right.
the
All
screen. I see you as
right.
well.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right.
Sorry,
All right. So let's
I'm
start
not,
with a short
I am
review of
not seeing the
yesterday's
screen.
class.
I'm not seeing the screen.
Please, can everybody mute microphones? You said you can't see the screen.
I'm seeing it now.
You
I'm seeing
should
it
be
now.
able to. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Today's class. Yesterday we did an introduction to what is story. I remember I told us that a story is about someone who's your main character who's trying to do something that is his goal or his need. But an obstacle, a person or a thing stands in his way of achieving that goal. This is what leads to conflict. Okay. I also explained that the process of an obstacle standing in the way of your character achieving their goal, that is conflict. Okay. The action your main character takes to overcome or to succumb to the obstacle, that is what your story is about. Yeah. Can you please mute your microphones? Okay, I think that's better. All right. So the action your main character takes to overcome or succumb to the obstacle, that is what your story is about. All right. Yesterday I got us to sing this as a song. Conflict, obstacle, goal, character. So we remember this. No conflict, no goal. Sorry. No um no goal, no obstacle. No obstacle. Okay. Moving on. I'm getting some technical challenges here. It's blowing my mind. The YouTube stream is open in another window. So I'm hearing myself as an echo from that window. It's messing with my mind seriously. Okay, but I think I've resolved that now. Let's move forward at the speed of light because we have a lot to cover tonight. And I don't want to rush it. I want us to be on the same page. So, summary of all of this is to have a story at all, you must have an interesting character, and your character must have a well defined goal and a nearly insurmountable obstacle. This is where we kind of ended yesterday. Sorry. And then we talked about what's it called? The phases. Phase one is you should have a story. This is what we covered here. Phase one, which is what is a story. Okay. Moving away from there, phase two is how to complete your story. And I said, if you don't have something to say, don't bother writing. Having something to say, in other words, having a theme or a message, is what ensures that you can complete this story that you have started. In phase one, we described what a story is. In phase two, we're looking at how to complete your story, tools, the device that can help you complete your story. And what device is that? Having a theme or a message. All right. Then phase three is getting the audience to care about this story that you have completed. Okay, so now you have a story and you've completed the story because you have a team. What will make your audience care enough to see it to the end are your characters. Okay? And then to give your story an identity, this is phase four, you should have a genre. The genre for your film should be clearly defined. This helps to situate your film. It helps audiences to know what to expect from your film, and then they can determine whether your film met those expectations at the end of the day or if you served them garbage. Okay. And then lastly, phase five, making your story memorable. And I said to make your story memorable, you should have stakes. Not only should you have conflicts, but there should be stakes. What is a stake? A stake is, in simple English, what is at stake if your character does not overcome the obstacle in their way? Meaning there should be consequences if those stakes are not met. This is how to make your story memorable. So this is a summary of what we covered yesterday. If you have any questions concerning this, type it in the chat. I would address it at the end of class. So let's move forward. Let's begin. Let's jump. So let's come to today's class. This is what we're covering today. We're starting with a checklist. Yeah. If you have a writing project, how do you approach a writing project? I am intentionally turning this class upside down. I mean, I'm starting from the end and not from the beginning. Why? Before now, I would first of all teach what a character is, what a goal is. I'll teach conflict, teach all of that before we come to this checklist. But for this particular class, I've decided to flip things, meaning let everybody have a big bird's eye view of what we're doing first off. Have a big picture in your mind of, okay, if I want to write, I should know this, I should have this, I should have this, and I should have this. Okay, then we start tackling them one by one. And then I'll explain each and every of this. I don't know if we get the approach I'm taking now. So let's take a look at the checklist. Um, the checklist of how to approach writing a script project. Number one, determine the target for your film. I do not know how to say this subtly, um, but the most important thing to do before you start a writing project is to determine your target audience. So let me explain. We'll get to that in a bit, but there are two types of scripts. You either are commissioned to write a script or you write what we call a spec script, a speculative script. What is a spec script? A spec script is a script you write with the hopes and the intention of selling it to some producer. That somebody will buy the script off of you. That is a spec script. You're writing based on speculation. Are we on the same page? Different from a commissioned script, which is when someone, a producer or someone, commissions you to write a script, meaning they put a call through. I want you to do this writing project for me. You have some form of conversation about pricing, etc. And then they go ahead to commission you. So you are not writing to sell. You've already sold even before you started writing. Two different approaches to this writing thing. Okay. But most of the scripts you would write would be spec scripts, speculative scripts, especially at the beginning of your journey as a script writer. All right. So if your goal is to write a script with the hope of selling it to someone, what if you write and nobody buys it? Or rather, the question is, how do you ensure that the script you write, it will be easy for producers to buy it? So let me reverse engineer. Remember, I'm Mr. Reverse Engineer. So let's reverse engineer this whole thing. I'm a producer. Because if you don't learn to think like a producer, but you're writing creatively from your head, the scripts might just pile up in your bedroom. All right. So say I'm a producer and I'm looking for a film to buy. What will be the things I will be looking for as a producer to determine if I want to buy this script or not? Number one is budget. Hello? The first thing I'm looking at as a producer is my budget. If I have 2 million naira to shoot a film, and the first line, the first scene in this script I'm reviewing, you've written a script, you've sent it to me, I'm reviewing the script to see if I want to buy it. And the first scene is an explosion at an airport, like two planes collide and boom. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. With my 2 million naira, can I even rent airport for the with the whole of the 2 million? Would it even rent an airport? The answer is no. So what would I do with that script? I'll pass. I don't know if we're getting this. Because you need to be thinking for the producer while you're writing, or else your writing would. So the first thing the producer considers is the budget. Second is what kind of films do I produce as a producer? Do I do epic films? Am I into this police and thief, Yoruba action-ish films? Do I do romance? Is it whatever? But if I'm somebody who shoots majorly epic films and you come to me with a romantic drama, I probably am not going to buy. And that is where target audience enters into this. Okay. I, as a producer, I have a target audience. When you, as a writer, are writing, you should consider the target audience of the producer you hope to sell this to. And you should be writing for their own target audience, not your target audience. I'm sure you might have heard this before, that write what you love, not in script writing. If you write what you love, only you will read what you have written. Your goal is to be able to sell it to some producer, and you must write what the producer wants. I want us to get this first off, like before we even go far at all. Are we getting it? Okay. So let me go back to the sheet, to the notes. So determine your target audience. I think I've done justice to this. The target audience of your film is the target audience of the producer you hope to sell it to. Meaning, before you even write a script, you should pen down a list of possible producers you might want to sell this to. Number two, you should go and watch the kind of content they've created and write stuff along that line. Give them the same thing, only different. I hope you get this, which also brings us to number two, determine the proposed or the planned budget for the film. I think I've explained this to you enough. All right, let's go to what the one that now concerns us, the one that is in our own jurisdiction to control. Because number one and number two, except you're the one making your film by yourself, the target audience and the budget are not directly in your control. That is in the control of the producer who will be producing the film. All right, now let's come to where we start from. What is the theme you're writing? Yesterday, I explained to us what theme is. I told us it is the message you're trying to say. And if you don't have something to say, don't go ahead to write a film. We'll talk about themes in details in the next couple of minutes. Number three, or number four now, what genre is your film? Is it action? Is it science fiction? Is it romance, comedy, adventure, epic, whatever? Determine the genre for your film. Then you should have round, dynamic characters. Okay, your character should have a goal, a clearly stated, well defined goal. And that is what gives us an obstacle. The obstacle your character will face will be determined by their goal. Okay. For example, I gave the story I started with yesterday. You have Chukwudi who wants to marry Amaka. Chukwudi, the poor guy, Amaka, also village girl. Yeah. And Chukwudi wants to marry this girl. What obstacle do you think should stand in the way of Chukwudi? So you come up with this obstacle that um, there was too much rains, which led to a flood and washed away the yams that Chukwudi planted in his farm. Yeah, nice obstacle. Question is, how does that relate to your film? If most of the obstacles your character face is not related to what his goal is, what is his goal? To get the girl. What obstacles should he have? His obstacles should be in the way of getting the girl, not on his farm, not with his friend. Not like he has issues with his friend and they get into a fight. How does that contribute to the story? Remember, our theme yesterday, I think, was something along the lines of love conquers all or something. So if that is the theme, meaning against all odds, if you persist, you can get the love of your life. Let's say that's the theme, the message of your film. But your obstacles are surrounding Emeka's farm and his friends, and the issue he has with his friends. They're always fighting. How does that move your story forward? And how does it drive your story towards the theme that you have already stated? So, the obstacle your character will face should be in the direction of their goal. The obstacle should be against the goal, not playing away. Do we get that? And then, of course, what conflict does your character have to resolve based on the obstacle? Remember, conflict is the result of an obstacle standing in the way of your character trying to achieve their goal. Then, which brings us to what is your character's arc? Now, we're talking in the realm of character development. You should have some form of character development in your story, in your film, meaning your character should start at a certain point and they should either grow up until some other point or they should decline. They should have a certain idea about life, but as the film progresses, situations and scenarios should get them to start questioning what they originally believed. Now, that is what a character arc is. Having an arc is what we call character development. Your character is not developed if your character does not have an arc. And what is the arc? They start at a certain point and they end somewhere different. And it could be as a result of something that happens to them that got them to change their approach and mindset. Then stakes. No stakes, no consequences. We don't care about your film. And we could add this to it, urgency. So your character has to resolve the conflict based on an obstacle, and you've given your character stakes, meaning if they don't resolve the conflict, so and so will happen. There will be so and so consequences. Beautiful. You can even take it two notches higher, meaning, but he has 2 days to resolve the problem. He has 3 months to resolve the problem. If he doesn't finish it in 3 months, Kasala go boss. Now you've added another layer of consequence and importance and memorability to your story. So in short, let me run through the checklist again. These are the things your film should address, solve before you even start writing. Determine the target audience, know the budget for your film. You should have a theme you're writing, a message, something you're trying to say with your film. Your film should have a defined genre. You should know what genre you're writing for. You should have round, dynamic characters. The character should have a goal. An obstacle should stand in the way of the goal, which is what gives rise to conflict. Yeah. And your character should have an arc. They should start from someplace, end somewhere else. There should be stakes to the actions of your characters, and there should be consequences for them failing or succeeding. And possibly you add a layer of time to it. These are the elements that your story or your script should have for it to be successful, sellable, and make be able to be made into a great film? Yes, I think I've dumped a lot of exposition on us. Any questions before we move forward? Are we in class? Are we there? Am I communicating? Do we have any questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, you talk about character development.
Yes.
So does character development has anything to do with the character background story? Like, okay, because the character had a poor upbringing, this is why he has tantrums, or this is why he has anger issues. Like, does the character development have anything to do with maybe the character background story?
Okay. Kind of. Not directly, but in a way. So your character's background is what lets us know where he's coming from. Okay. So for example, he comes from a poor background, but is a straightforward person. He, irrespective of the fact that he's poor, is a man of integrity. That is his background. Character development, however, is does he change as a result of situations and circumstances, or does he stick to his principles even at the end of the film? So you put him in a lot of situations and circumstances and scenarios, and at the end of the film, we see who he has turned out to be, starting from his background. But where is he now? So the background is not essentially character development, but it sets the tone, the initial stage for does he change and what does he change into? I don't know if that answers the question. Hello, did that answer the question? I'm assuming it did. Let's move forward. Where's my notes? I can't see my note though. Okay, send it. Share. All right. So, based on this checklist, we're starting with what is the theme of your story or your film. So let's start from theme. What is theme? Theme in a film or a script, yeah, is the underlying message or idea that your story conveys. It is the central concept that ties together all the elements of the narrative, from the characters and the plot to the setting and the tone. Here are some common themes explored in films. Okay. So, for example, love is a theme, and there are several things you can say in and around love, e.g., the power of love, the different forms of love, the impact of love on individuals and relationships, e.g., who love ever. That is a theme. That is something you might be trying to say with your film. Or your film can be about against all odds, love overcomes. Another thing is loss. Your film can be based on the experience of loss or grief or the process of healing of your main character. The film can be a story of redemption, the idea of atoning for past mistakes and finding forgiveness. E.g., I once wrote a film. I never got to do anything with it, but it was about the Civil War. So during the war, this military guy, they conquered this village and raped. Everybody was picking girls randomly and raping. But the girl, this particular soldier man that he got, the girl was begging him and like, don't do this. Like she's the virgin priestess, whatever, for the oracle in the village. And even when he was about to, there was this sash that covered her genitals. And it was obvious that there was calories and stuff. Mr. Man, Konji, he just shifts, do, moved on. And that, of course, the war finished, he moved on, and that set off a chain of reactions in his life, supernatural occurrences that was unexplainable, until he discovered that he had to find a way to get the oracle that he crossed to forgive him, whatever. Funny enough, the um, offspring, the child from that, what's it called? Long story, but his path and that of his son crossed. He became a mentor to the boy, not knowing he was his son. And the mother hears about the man, blesses him, not knowing he was the guy who raped her that she caused. I don't know if you are beginning to see the tie in now. So at the end of the day, Mr. Man found a way to redeem himself. Okay, as a series of a lot of things that happened, but good his good intention showed through, such that the woman had to forgive him at the end of the day, because he had done so much for her, not knowing that it was her, and all of that. So anyway, a story of redemption. Yeah. Or it could be an identity-based story, like a search for self, a search to understand yourself. Some films are based on what is my purpose in this life, people finding their purpose. And the list goes on and on: revenge, hope, justice, power, friendship, nature versus nurture, etc. All right, if you watch a film, how do you identify the theme? Or if you're reading a script or a manuscript or a story, how do you identify the theme? Number one, consider the central conflict. What problem or challenge do the characters face? This can give you a clue as to the theme of a film, because most times, not most times, if the story is well written, the conflict should be in and around the theme. Okay, then look at how the characters change, the characters arc. It starts at point A, ends at point B. It will be an indication of the theme of the film. For example, if the theme is who love help, it will be about a girl who truly, truly loved at the beginning, but situations and circumstances have gotten her to be um, love should go and jump inside the lake. I beg. Where is the money? Do we get this? So, girl has changed from somebody who was a sucker for love to somebody who doesn't send love anymore and is ready to sell to highest bidder. You see that it reflects the theme. All right. Analyze the setting and the tone. For example, somebody asked about the character's background. Okay. So, seeing the background at the beginning and at the end will give you a clue as to what the theme of the story is, and then symbolism. Sadly, in this part of the world, we rarely use symbolism when we write stories, when we make films. Symbols are things like objects or images or events that represent deeper meanings. For example, the story I told about soldier who raped a girl who was a priestess. The sash that was covering her genitals was the last um, thing the guy broke before he entered her, and that had a meaning. That was the seal, so to speak, of that oracle claiming that girl for itself. And by Mr. Man breaking the seal, he had um Otito, Otitoja, how do you say this in English? Um Whatever. He has crossed the Rubicon, so to speak. All right. So remember, a theme can be explicit or implicit, meaning it can be internal or external. It can be forced from outside or it can work from inside out. And a single story can explore multiple themes. So here is a clip from a film. Everybody should find this film and watch it. What's the name of the film again? Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption. Let me write it up here. Shawshank Redemption. What am I typing? Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. It's one of the best films. Most time, the film is so well written. It is always a reference for story writing. Okay, so in the film, remember I was talking about theme. The film is one of the central themes of the film is hope, and this guy in the middle has hope. He was unjustly imprisoned for the murder of his wife. He was accused of killing his wife and was sentenced to jail. Okay, irrespective of the situation, he still chose to have hope. The guy on the right, Morgan Freeman, the character he played, was halfway between losing hope and being influenced by our main character with hope. You see this guy on the left? That is the prison warder. This guy, his job is to destroy hope. Can you see how these three people can easily get into a story that you would want to watch? Somebody is giving hope. Somebody wants to destroy hope. Mr. Man, on the other hand, is halfway between do I want to buy into this hope idea or not? The rest is history. Okay? So, whatever you do, write stories with deeper meaning. The theme of your film, you should have something specific to say. All right, we're back. Any questions? Having discussed theme, I want to believe we have a deeper understanding of what theme is now. Yes or yes? Hello, people of God.
Yes, we do.
All right. All right. So we should move on, yeah? Good. You know what? Before we move on, I want everybody to take 30 seconds, take a minute. Either you're typing on your phone, either you pick a pen and paper, write 5 themes just randomly off the top of your head. Write down 5 themes you might want to explore. Type one of them in the chat. At least we get the concept of what a theme is. Don't worry, your team is not stealable. Just in case you are like, the theme for my film, worry not. Theme is not one of the things that can be stolen. All right, discrimination. No, you're sorry. That's nice. Single parenthood. Eloho, so your theme is not specific enough. What exactly do you want to say about single parenthood? Do you want to say something like it's sometimes unavoidable and you have to live with it? Do you want to say it's bad? Do you want to say it's men that cause it? Do you want to say the influence it has, the effect it has on kids? Like there's so much you can say about single parenthood, but you should know what about single parenthood you want to talk about. Okay. Juliet Ibube, self-discovery. Nice, but can you be more specific? Self-discovery in what respect? Like a man discovers himself. Is it a boy who chooses to against all or like self-discovery? How? Just give us an hint. When you're sorry, who is discriminating against you? Although discrimination in and of itself is a thing, I agree. But I don't know if you get where I'm pushing us to. Let your theme be very specific. Let it be very, very specific. Anybody else? Colorism in the Nigerian society. Eh? Okay, now. So I was on a podcast. Love is patient. Good news. Nice. So I was on a podcast recently, and the subject matter was colorism. Yeah, and the host had some members of the panel. They had some takes on colorism that was Number one, what was the Yoruba thing? Number two is that it's an inferiority thing. Number three is like, and I'm like, calm down, calm down. True, the effects, yes, but have you sat down to wonder what do you think would have caused it? Because sometimes empathy is good. If you want to address an issue, it is nice to have empathy to consider where are these people victims? Excuse me. Are they the word is not criminal now? Perpetrators or are they victims? Because a lot of times in this life, people are actually victims, not perpetrators. Okay, Eloho, revenge. Ah, single parenthood and revenge. That mix will be explosive. Oh. Jesus is Lord, though. You must be a very wicked human being. Forgive me. I'm just wondering where you're going to take it to a combination of single parenthood and revenge. That guy is in trouble, though. That guy is in serious trouble. All right. During the course of the class, anybody else you can drop your what's it called? Your theme in the chat. I'll give you one or two comments about it. Okay, so that because the idea is it's the feedback that is the core of this class. The feedback. Oh, okay, you change it from single parenthood to revenge. Okay, okay, but I like the single parenthood thing though. I know a lot of ladies will not like it. It's not a subject matter ladies like talking about. They love avoiding it. Maybe that's why you said the problem is a little much. But it's well. It's well. Let's move forward. Um, okay. Moyo, sorry, let me give you a challenge. With this theme you chose, colorism in the Nigerian society, can you write a film about the first woman who bleached in Nigeria? An historical film. Fictional, yet historical. Fictional in the sense of the woman, we don't know who the woman is, you don't, but you're writing as if you do. Historical in the context of you would have to do a basic measure of research. What caused colorism, bleaching in the first instance, and the first set of people who bleached, what was going on in their minds? How did they get access to the chemicals or whatever it is they used to bleach? And write a story around it. So let's do an historical piece about the first woman in Nigeria who bleached. Do you want to take up that challenge? All right, let's move on. Muyo, sorry, I'll be expecting your response. Let's move on with the class. Okay. All right, I'd like to see what you do with it. Excuse me. All right, we're back. So let's go to genre. Genre is the categorization of literature, movies, works of art. music, even. Okay, so in film, genres are categories that classify music and movies based on their style, content, tone, and narrative conventions. Each genre has distinctive characteristics and tropes, which audiences know, which help audiences know what to expect from a film. Have I given us any assignment today? Yes, I gave us one. Write down five themes. This is the second assignment I'm giving us. I want you to find out what is the meaning of this word, tropes. Hello, everybody. Are we there? I want everybody to find out the meaning of the word trope and give me examples of tropes. So everybody, find it out. Drop the response in the group before you sleep tonight. It's to do tonight's assignment. What is the meaning of the word trope? TROPE, and give 2 to 5 examples of what a trope is. Are we good? Mr. Chris Oyelude, unit. Okay, nice one. Okay, but like I told others, unity is too general. I would want you to be more specific, e.g., um, let's see now. It could be unity at the family level, like either the plus or the minus of what happens when a family does not unite. It could be siblings level, it could be couple level, it could be the whole family level, it could be based on properties, it could be because they chose to not align and unite. Some external factions got to take over what is rightfully theirs. If they had united, things would not have gone that way. Okay, that's something to say vis-a-vis unity on the family level. It could be on a society level. It could be unity in the church. It could be unity as a nation. Like unity is just too broad and too big. Localize it. Say something specific about unity. Okay. All right. Moving on. So everybody, the assignment about tropes, do not forget. Moving on, understanding film genres also aids filmmakers in crafting stories that resonate with specific themes and audience expectations. Here's a breakdown of some major film genres and their defining features. A, action. Action films are characterized by fast-paced sequences, physical stunts, intense situations, etc. Common elements in action films: you have fights, you have car chases, you have gunfights, explosions, and adrenaline pumping sequences. Examples are Mad Max Fury Road, Die Hard, Avengers, etc. Two, adventure. Adventure films often overlap with action, but focus more on exploring unknown places or embarking on a quest. Let me read that again. The most important component of adventure films that sets it apart from other kinds of film is this: it explores unknown places and it has people embarking on a quest. Hence the word adventure. Now, we live in a world where film genres now mix filmmakers rather mix genres. So you can have an action adventure film, you can have a horror adventure film, you can have a romance adventure film. Like you can mix genres to get at where you're going to. I don't know if we get that. Okay. But what makes it an adventure film is the fact that they are going on an adventure, embarking on a quest, exploring unknown places. So the story would involve things like taking a journey, discovery, doing a daring mission, etc. Okay. Moving on. Comedy. Comedy films are designed to entertain and make audiences laugh, often by highlighting absurdities, misunderstandings, or exaggerated characters. They take various subforms such as slapstick. Slapstick comedy is, can I give an example of slapstick? Like it has a lot of farce, it's farcical. You have satire and there's romantic comedy, but all of them aim to amuse. Common elements of comedy is humor, light-hearted tone, funny dialogues, and of course, exaggerated situations. Okay, number four, drama. Um, Drama are essentially character-driven stories with a lot of emotional depth and real-life conflicts. Let's move on to number five, horror. Horror films aim to invoke fear. Okay, it could be supernatural horror, it can be body horror, it can be slasher horror, different kinds of horror films, psychological horror, and you get. Common elements include suspense, jump scares, monsters, supernatural events, psychological terror, etc. Number six, thriller. Thriller films are suspenseful and often deal with danger, tension, and mystery. The most important element of thriller films are mystery. Again, most thrillers are mixed, meaning it could be an action thriller or a romantic thriller or a adventure thriller. But what makes it a thriller is that there's a lot of mystery around it. Crime films are also thrillers. A lot of criminal related films are also thrillers in the sense of there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of plot twists, and there's a lot of intense anticipation to it. Okay, so it can be blended with other genres like crime, like action, like psychological thrillers, etc. Number seven, science fiction. Science fiction films explore futuristic, speculative, or imaginative scenarios. It often involves a lot of advanced tech, space exploration, time travel, or extraterrestrial life. Sci-fi often tackles philosophical questions about humanity, society, and technology. Science fiction is one kind of film that we don't write in Nigeria. I'm waiting for the first person that will write a sensible science fiction film. Okay. But we'll take a deeper look as we go. Number eight, fantasy. Fantasy films are set in worlds where magic, mythical creatures, and supernatural phenomena exist. It's very similar to adventure, but the difference is you don't need to go on a quest for a fantasy. What makes a fantasy film is the fact that there is magic, or there are mythical creatures, or there are other worldly supernatural things going on in it. Like the word says, fantasy, something very imaginative and creative, magical, inclined, etc. Then you have romance films. I don't think anything needs to be said about this. Mystery involves solving a puzzle. Crime involves it focuses on criminal activity, often from the perspective of law enforcement or sometimes from the criminals themselves. These movies explore themes like morality, justice, and the consequences of illegal actions. They often involve heists, investigations, or mob operations. Then you have Western films, also called cowboy films. I don't think anybody wants to write a cowboy film here. And then you have musicals. Okay, musicals incorporate songs and dance numbers into the narrative. The performances often express the character's emotions and move the plot forward. I mean, the musical performances. Musicals can cross into many genres, combining drama with the musical, or romance with the musical, or comedy with the musical. I, I'm not sure if they have seen any Nigerian musical before. If there is, maybe one, maybe two. Okay, common elements include a lot of music and singing and dancing. Like the film is based in and around songs. Sound of Music is a very good example. Same with La La Land and Miserables. I don't know how to say it. It's a French word. Les Miserables, if I was to pronounce it in English. Then we have war films. Little need to be said about this. Documentaries are also films. For those of us who don't know that documentaries are films and is a genre of filmmaking. Then you have animation, yeah, and then what we call epic historical films. And lastly, you can mix genres together. So it can be a romantic comedy, an action thriller, a sci-fi horror, etc. And that brings us to the end of um, themes for today. Next up, we're going to conflict. But before we go to conflict, any questions as it concerns genre? Hello, people of God. Any questions? Love is patient. Hmm. Love is sweet. Oh. When money enter, love is sweeter. That can be the theme for a film. That love is sweet, but when money enter, love is sweeter. That's the theme for a film. Like no, just use mouth to love me. Show it. Okay, moving on. How many people are in class? Six. There are only six people in class. Jesus Christ. Where is everybody else? Um, Eloho, Rachel, Zion, Miosore, Ganiu, Olani. Interesting. All right, moving on. Moving on. Give me a sec. Let me check who's on Face on WhatsApp. Who's saying column? YouTube, VNTV. Reason to leave. Oh, okay, okay. Who is VNT TV? Reason to leave. Okay. Team Grow Global TV. When are we starting? We have started. Kiladi, doubt. Okay, doubt. But again, like I've told others, you need to be more specific as it concerns doubt. But of course, doubt is valid, but narrow it down, niche down when you're choosing a theme for your film. Okay, let's go back to Zoom. I just said I should peep into YouTube to address what is the meaning? What is the meaning of trope? I'm typing the assignment on YouTube. Just give me a minute. So that those who are on YouTube would also get the assignment. What is the meaning of trope? Give 5 examples to be submitted tonight. Okay, let me put the same here for us. I'm sure you can see the assignment. Let me also put it inside our WhatsApp group. Just give me a sec. Copy link address there. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. I've covered all the bases. Let's get back to class. Okay. David Daniel is back. It's good to have you back. Let's continue with the class. Window. Is there anybody who's Chioma in the class here? This Davido song is just racking my brain. I'm looking for somebody to sing it for. And I am looking for a sister. All right, moving on with class. So let's talk about conflict. No, before we go to conflict, we should talk about characters first. How did I mix this up? Conflict is good, but characters is better. All right. Let's talk about characters before we go to conflict. All right. So, what are characters? Characters are essential to telling a compelling story. Your characters drive the plot forward. Your characters interact with each other and they evoke emotions in the audience. Characters can be organized into categories based on their narrative functions and their roles within the story. So let's look at types of characters. We can group characters one based on um, are they primary characters? In this case, we're looking at the protagonist, which is your hero, the antagonist, the bad guy or the boss, and the anti-hero, who is neither a good guy nor a bad guy. Now we can look at characters based on are they secondary characters, meaning supporting characters like the foil character, the love interest, or the mentor? I'll get to explain them later, but I'm just doing a basic bird's eye view. I think knowing what you're getting yourself into vis-a-vis the bird's eye view is one good way to learn. So you know what to expect as we go forward. Okay, we can look at types of characters based on the complexity of the character, meaning are we looking at a flat character or a round character? And then we can look at types of characters based on the character arc. Is this a static character, a character that does not change? Or are we looking at a dynamic character, a character that changes by the end of the film based on what happens to them during the film? Or is he a tragic hero who is a dynamic character but falls instead of rising? Then lastly, we could group characters into stereotypical or stock characters. Okay, so you could be looking at the stock character or a character who's in the film just for comic relief. So let's start with primary characters. Okay, primary characters. These characters drive the main story, the main action of the story, and they undergo the most development. If you know anybody in Pepsi, tell them I want to be the ambassador. All right. So we're looking at primary characters. The number one character in your film will be your protagonist. This is the hero or the central character around whom the whole story revolves. This is the actor, the main character, the lover boy, the girl who the story is about, etc. This is your main character. Is the good guy, on the other hand. Like, not only is he the main character, is quote and unquote the good guy, the one who has a goal, the one who there is an obstacle to his goal, the one who has to resolve the conflict. That is your protagonist. Opposite of the protagonist is the antagonist, the character or force opposing the protagonist. Remember, we said your protagonist would have an obstacle. Most times, the obstacle is a person. And who is this person? The antagonist. Okay, this is what creates conflict in your film. And you also have the anti hero, a non traditional protagonist. He lacks heroic qualities, but is still relatable or sympathetic. An example of an anti hero is John Wick. I hope we all know that John Wick is an assassin, a bad guy, but he's relatable. We can sympathize with him, and is the person we follow in the John Wick story. But one on one, John Wick is supposed to be a boss in another film. But we move on. Let's go to secondary characters. Yeah. Secondary characters are characters who support or contrast with the main characters, but are not the focus of the story. Okay, e.g., the friends or allies of your main character. You also have a foil character, who is a character that contrasts sharply with the protagonist. Now, this looks like he should be the bad guy, but he is not. Although he contrasts with the protagonist, he is not the source of the conflict for the protagonist. I don't know if that is clear. Okay. Love interest, of course, the romantic counterpart of your protagonist. Mentor, a wise guide who helps your protagonist to achieve their goals. Now, you don't need to have all of these characters in your film. Don't get it wrong. I'm introducing us to these characters. Some films will have them. For example, most adventure films will have a mentor character. If it's a drama or a romantic film, definitely there'll be a love interest. Same with if it's an adventure or a fantasy film, you would have a foil character. It would be the supporting actor who, one, encourages the actor, but at the same time is also the voice of reason for the actor. A lot of times they will die and get sacrificed for the actor to move forward. That's your foil character. Now let's move on to complexity. There are two kinds of character based on this: flat character and round character. A flat character is a simple, one dimensional character who is serving a specific narrative in the story. Let me explain it in simple English. Or rather, let me start with a round. A round character is fully developed with complex traits, emotions, and motivations. I think one word I should have added here is backstory. Not as a sub, but a word on its own. Let's make this blue. Let's make it bigger. So, a round character is one who we either know his backstory or we know the motivations for what they do. Hello, somebody. So, this guy is a thief. As in, by the time the film starts, we know that he's a full-blown carry gun, pull heists, thief window sent. But we also have the backstory and the understanding that he was poor as a kid. His parents were, his mom died primarily because he couldn't pay for what's it called, hospital bills. Is why he made up his mind like this poverty. I will not pass it to the next generation. Anything. That is what leads him to a life of crime. Does that justify him being a criminal? No, but at least we understand why he's a criminal. So that at the end of the film, when he finally is gunned down by the police, we will feel bad that, hey, yeah, the A yeah, is not because we are sympathizing with a thief. No, it is because we understand what got him to become a thief in the first instance. We wish he was not a thief, but he is a thief. We don't support his thieving, but we understand why he thief, whatever. Do we get this? This is a round character, a character that we understand his backstory and we know his motivations. We know why he's the way he is, why he does what he does, why he is the way he. That is a round character. The opposite of that is a flat character. When we meet him, we know little or nothing about him. At the end of the film, we still know little or nothing about him. He's a bad guy, okay? Why is he bad? We don't know. What got him to be that way? We don't know. Even he himself, he doesn't know. Most antagonists in films are like this. For example, the wicked stepmother or the wicked mother-in-law. Most times, by the time we meet them, they are wicked already. Why are they wicked? We don't know. Do they change? They don't change. They probably would die as the same wicked witch without any explanation as to how they became what they became. And therefore, there is no empathy, no remorse, no feeling, no sympathy, even on the part of the audience towards them. So, you want audiences to care about your character, make your character a round character. Let us understand their backstory, their motivations, why they behave the way they behave. It is. Do we get this? All right. The next grouping for characters is based on their character arc. We've discussed character arc in and out. Okay. These categories focus on how much the character changes. Again, your character arc speaks to the change that your character goes through as a result of what happens to them in the story. So in this case, we have two kinds of characters. Just like we have flat and round as complexity-based characters, in this case, we have static and dynamic as it concerns character arc. And you can guess, a static character is one who remains unchanged at the end of the film. A dynamic character is the one that undergoes significant internal change over the course of the story. So if your character is well developed, it will be a dynamic character. We see him at the beginning, but at the end of the film, he has changed as a result of the things that happens to them. But the static character does not change. Okay? So what do you want when you're writing characters? You want to write a round character who is dynamic. Shuiwa. Okay? And then the last on that category is the tragic hero, who is a protagonist with a fatal flaw that leads to their downfall. Meaning it's the same thing as a dynamic character, but the significant difference is this one has a flaw. And the only change they experience is a downfall. A dynamic character most times experiences a change that changes them for the better. A tragic hero experiences the change that leads to their downfall, leaves them worse off. And then you have stock characters like your comic relief, your typical gate man, or your malam. People who like what to once you hear, hey, well I telling you don't know what to expect from the gate man who's a malam any day, anytime. That's your stock character. And most times they are in the film for comic relief. Okay. Any questions before we go into character description? We would do a short exercise when we're done with the character description. Any questions? David, my network is poor. David, if your network is poor, please join the YouTube. That's why we're streaming on YouTube. I've dropped the link in the group, in the WhatsApp group. Let me paste it here again. You can just click on it and use that to join YouTube, irrespective of your network. You can still move ahead with YouTube. Oh, okay, okay, Nandi, yeah, VNTT TV. Okay, where were we? Okay, so there, join on YouTube if your Zoom isn't working. Can you please give me, who's this? Eloho? Can you please give me an example of when a character doesn't change? Oh, best example is John Wick. When we meet John Wick, is an assassin. When we leave John Wick, is an assassin. Part two, when we meet John Wick, is on a quest of vengeance. At the end of part two, John Wick is still on a quest for vengeance. When we get to part three, John Wick is still on a quest for vengeance. By the end of John Wick part three, John Wick is still on a quest for vengeance. I don't know another definition for a static character other than John Wick. He is dynamic though. Remember, there's static and dynamic. Sorry, there's flat and round. There's static and dynamic. What was the question again? When a character doesn't change. Okay, so that's a static character. It's not dynamic. It doesn't. Dynamic is a character that changes. Static is a character that does not change. Yes. So John Wick is a static character. It's not dynamic, but he's not a flat character. He is round, meaning we understand his motivations. We know why he does what he does. We know why he is the way he is. I hope that answers your question, Elo. Any other question before we go to character description? Hello, people of God. All right, let's move forward then. Share. Okay. Now let's talk about character description. Okay. YouTube. Okay. YouTube is still. Those on YouTube do not know that NEPAs carry lights. That's good. Um, just a minute. I'm trying to. Are we all still here? Our people just did what they know how to do best, and I don't want to break the flow of the class by um, trying to sort one generator, one thing. So I recommend we just continue with the class. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we can continue. You know, I'm finer than this normal. It's normal. It's Nepal. Right. Um, chat. Okay. Share screen. Okay. I guess we're back now, Shay. So let's talk about character description. Character description refers to the description of a character when planning or writing your story. YouTube, guys on YouTube, please confirm if if uh, um, we're still live if you're with us. Yeah. Interesting. All right, so I guess we're good. Yeah. So character description refers to the description of a character when you're still in the planning stage of your story. This is a little different from the character description that you write in the script. I will make the distinction clear. Okay. When do we write this character description? This is when you're still planning for your film. You're working at all the components that makes your film work. Story, meaning your character, goal, the obstacle, the conflict, stakes, consequence, urgency, all of that. Okay, so we're speaking to that character description now. Before we now start formatting the script, and you're not introducing your character to the audience. This is not introducing the character to the audience. This is forming the character like with clay so that you can have a workable story on your hands before you now start introducing the character to the audience. All right. So this description typically includes their name, age, sex, physical attributes, profession, social status, marital status, financial status, and some basic character traits or attitudes. Okay. Uh, Here's an example. A village headmaster in the 1960s. I just give us a list of what it should cover. I mean the character description. How many does it actually cover? Let's take a look. Name, well, fine. We don't have a name for our village headmaster here. Okay, so let's paint that red. We don't have a name in it. But age, does this character description give us an idea of this person's age? Yes, it does. In the 1960s, the village headmaster would be like, I don't know, in their 50s, late 40s, early 50s. So age-wise, we actually have an age for this person. Let's say he is 50. Okay. How about sex? Definitely is male. Profession is an headmaster. Yeah. Marital status, he probably is married. Most likely at 50, he ought to be married. Social status, okay. Okay, Ibeta Wiladeyi. Now, this is some serious work. What do you think the social status would be for a village headmaster in the 1960s? Do you think he will be an elite or a commoner? He most likely will be an elite. Village headmasters in those days, they hobnob with the kings and the chiefs and the white man and the etc. So he is an elite, not a commoner. How about his financial status? Is he rich? Is he poor? Is he middle class? I will go with middle class. He definitely is not poor. Okay, I'm not sure he will be rich, but he will be the only person that has a bicycle in the village, other than the village chief. All right, physical attributes. This could be anything. We could say he's a stout, round man. Um, wait, what's the meaning of stout again? Because I was going to write lean, and then lean and stout don't go together. Okay, dark and tall. Okay, I think we can go with this. And then character traits. Could we say he's rigid and stubborn? Yeah, and he likes to carry shoulder. Do you think we can extrapolate all of these details from this character description? I'll say yes. Let's try another character description. Let's look at a single mother. Oh, what did I do? Okay, a single mother in her 30s who um, who gossips too much for her own good. Okay. Beautiful and voluptuous. Is that a spelling of voluptuous? I think it's the OUTP. Yeah. Um, she's envied by most of her married neighbors because of her backside and their husbands' glances when she passes. Gagons. Okay, here's another character description. Much longer than the first one, but I think they both do the same job. So if I was to bring this down here, and let's see if we can analyze this from what we have above. Okay, again, we don't have a name for her. Okay, let's say Clara. Clara is single mother. So in this case, we now have a name. So name Clara. Age, she's in her 30s. Let's say 34. Sex, female. Yeah. Profession is not particularly mentioned. Nobody should stone me. Oh. Nobody should stone me. Oh. Don't tell me that single mother is not a profession. I'm just catching cruise. Forgive me. Marital status, of course, she's single. Social status, I don't know, middle class or poor. I don't know. Let's say lower middle class. She's not particularly poor, but she ain't, there either. No, okay. Financial status. Okay, this ought to be here. And then lower classes, she's commoner. Commoner, Abi, masses. What do you call this? Physical attributes. She fine die. Okay. And then character traits, she gossips a lot. Yeah. Do you see how we have a in this case now a round and dynamic character on our hands? Well, she's not dynamic yet, but there is room for conflict in this. If you have a single mother who is fine, let's come back to the description here. If she's a single mother, yeah, and she's fine, and she's got a big backside, and neighbors, her married neighbors, envy her because their husband are always glancing when she passes, yeah, but she herself, she talks too much. Can you see the potential for conflict in this character description? There's a lot that can go wrong based on all of this that we have. Can anybody suggest some conflicts that can arise as a result of this? Let me see if we're on the same page. Hello, people of God. Either on YouTube or on Zoom, can anybody suggest one or two, what's it called? What did I call it? Conflict that might arise as a result of this character description that we have for this lady. Okay, Loho, I've not been reading the charts. Stout is short but bulky. Okay, so you can't be stout and tall at the same time. All right, nice one, nice one. Okay, there's four of us, five of us on Zoom. Oh yeah, people on Zoom. Oh yeah, unmute yourself. Give me one or two conflicts that you think might arise as a result of this lady's character description that we have. And if you're on YouTube, type it in the chat section. I want to see if we're all on the same page. Oh, YouTube, you've not even heard the question. Let me see. There's a 3 minute, is it 2 minutes? Is there like a 2 minutes gap between Zoom and YouTube? Interesting. Okay. We'll be waiting for you on YouTube when you hear the question and you start giving your responses. But for those of us on Zoom, Eloho, say something. Oh, okay. I'm the one that is not live. Oh, okay. Are there students in this class or am I alone? Am I talking to myself? Me too, I will off mic. Oh. I will off my mic. Oh. Mr. Gani Olani, Auntie Rachel,
Sorry,
Zion,
the question.
So based on the character description that I put up for the lady is in her 30s and she's fine, got a backside, she gossips a lot. The question is, what potential conflicts do you see that can arise as a result of just this character description?
Maybe she's trying to attract one of a single neighbor, and the neighbor has a
Okay.
girlfriend that is just as harsh and a gossip like her. So
Okay.
she's going to be trying to snatch her man.
Yeah. So what's the conflict that arises from that?
Okay, I'm thinking.
Okay. So, because I need us to be able to put this in proper context so that we're not just taking in information, but we are acting on the information. Okay. So, tip, the conflict should be in and around her personality and her character description. Okay, Duke, constant bickering as a result of gossips. Okay. Yeah, we could take it a step forward. So she gossips, gets into a fight with one of the neighbors, female. Maybe that one tells her husband.
No, the neighbor is a male. The neighbor is a male. She's attracted to the male neighbor, but the male neighbor has a
Okay,
girlfriend that comes around and
okay,
notices that this single woman is trying to snatch her
okay. So she now devises a plan to do what?
to try and chase the girlfriend away. So she spins stories for the young man, saying your
Okay,
girlfriend is this and that, trying to
okay,
get him to send her off. So she comes in.
okay, okay. All right, all right. I think this is making sense. So there's a single neighbor who has a girlfriend. She wants to replace the girlfriend. So she cooks up a lot of cock
Yes,
and
sir.
bull stories around the situation, and then it blows up in her face. Or how does it end?
Yes, yes. Yes, it blows
Good.
up in
Now,
her face. And of course, she
do you
goes back
see, and of course, she goes back to where? To her corner.
to looking for another man.
Good. Do you know the reason why we have a challenge? The story is, it might make sense at the end of the day, yeah, but there is something we could have done
Yes.
before now that would have guaranteed this story working, which is if we had decided on a theme and a message before we started whining our
Okay.
character to see conflict, we would have gotten where we want to go. Do you get what I just
Okay,
said
that's
now?
true.
All right. So, oh yeah, let's come
Yes,
up with
sir.
a theme. Suggest a theme, any theme. Let's come up with a theme, and then let's see how we can panel beat our story, meaning the character, the conflict, so that we can arrive at the bus stop for the theme.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Just choose a word randomly. A lot of times, thinking doesn't help. Well, thinking helps, but overthinking is not good. Okay. So let me see too.
Um,
Um, is it about money? Is it about
okay.
or before we even go ahead, there are two things. There's the theme and there's the genre. Oh yeah, let's choose a genre too while we're at it.
Okay. The genre has to be a love story, I guess.
No, it has to be Abby. Now imagine if the genre was horror. Can you see potential possibilities if the genre was horror?
Yes, yes.
Exactly. And that is what happens. It might look like it's a formula, but believe me, the formula can take you to unknown places. Once you can take the same story idea and just change the genre, and you have something totally different on your hands, such that you don't even need to be
Okay.
inspired before you can come up with original, authentic story ideas. Just a mix and match. So since we're on that topic, who knows Chat GPT here? Hello?
I just
Do we you know Chat GPT, yeah?
yes, yes.
All right, so this is what I want you to do with the tool. Problem is if you want ChatGPT to write a script for you, it will write nonsense. But you can use it as a
Very true.
research assistant.
Bad enough.
So you can use it as a research assistant. How do I mean? Ask ChatGPT to give you 20 themes for a film. Write the 20 somewhere. Now ask it for 20 genres, particular 20 sub genre of the drama and historical genre. It will give you subgenres. 20, write it somewhere. Then ask it for 20 character descriptions for single mothers, for a single mother in her 30s living in Nigeria. And let it give you 30 um, random character descriptions. Write all three on three separate sheets and number it 1 to 20. 1 to 20 for the character description, 1 to 20 for the themes, 1 to 20 for the subgenres, and just choose number randomly 4, 13, 8. And choose the character description from number 4. Choose the theme, number 13 on the theme list, and number 8 on the subgenre list. Now you have a character description, a theme, a subgenre. Now you have something to walk around with and come up with a story. I don't know if I'm communicating with someone.
Yeah, sir.
I'm hoping that those who will get to watch this after, either I'm sure a lot of people are quite preoccupied today. They are not as engaging as we were yesterday. But I'm hoping that when they get to rewatch this and they get to this bit, they'll be able to actually extract this and run with this idea. And then you see that it's much easier to come up with story ideas going forward. Okay, somebody is writing here. Queer, I have a genre of crime. Okay, one of the guys is a wanted criminal. She's an undercover. I hope by she you're referring to the single mother. Okay. Twist. She uncovers a conspiracy that one of the commanders was involved in the crime. The commander orders her to stop investigating. Our goal is to uncover the secret of the unknown commander and get to the end of the matter. Ah, in the same face me, I face you, the conflict of the unknown general hell bent on stopping her. Hey, hey.
Wonder.
This man they carry me go where I don't know. Hey, Jesus. Okay. Although it can be worked, no matter how terrible a story idea looks, it can always be panel beated and made to work. Okay. So if we start with this genre crime, the criminal has to come and live it. Okay. The criminal has to live a low life, like live low key. Okay. And he knows about her. Okay. So single mother lives low key. A criminal, maybe she moved there because of the criminal. Since she's an undercover cop, she intentionally acts loud and a gossip so that she has a reason to be shooking mouth where no concern her and be asking people questions. They know that she's that kind of person. Is that where we're going to with this? Um, okay. Um, ah, uh, there's a lot of work, especially when you're dealing with crime, because it must make sense. There's a lot that must align, different from if you're doing some laid back genre like romance, like comedy. A lot of things don't need to align. But for crime, you must let us know what the crime is, who the criminal is, why is committing the crime, why is on the run, who is pursuing him, why that is the best place for him to hide, why that girl, the single mother, has chosen to also come after him, knowing full well that they might have backup plans to eliminate anybody who comes after him, how she goes about trying to there's a lot to deal with. It's not impossible though. It's not. It's just a little more involving than one of the other laid back genres. But I don't know. The little I've chipped in, add it to what you have. Let's see what you can come up with. Mr. Queer, did you get that? If you didn't hear me, watch it in the video because even me, I can't remember what I said. Okay, just rewind the video, get some of these things I've chipped in, add it to what you have, and let's see where that can take us. All right. Let me see what's next so that we can take this boat to. Can we still do conflict tonight? Can we? Can we? Conflict is the only thing left on this sheet to do that we've not done. Conflict is a little bulky. Let's leave conflict. We'll continue from conflict tomorrow. I don't want to rush it. Conflict is probably the most important thing, and it's the only item left that we've not discussed. Once we're done with conflict, tomorrow we'll pick up from there and we'll go to how to format a script. And then we will take on a basic writing assignment from beginning to the end, see how all of these things play together. This character story we're talking, how this character thing they work safe. We'll look at character development, character arc, and all of that. And yeah, we'll take it to some meaningful end. Such that on Monday, when we meet on Monday, we will now talk specifically. We'll do like a 1 hour class of how to write a short film. And then you get the writing assignment for the week. And then upper week, we'll do the 1 hour class on how to write a web series, and we'll get a web series assignment. And the last week, we'll look at how to write a feature-length film, and then we'll do the assignment for. Oh, that's true. I made it sound like it was just 3 days of class. It's essentially 6 days. It's essentially 6 days. After these 3 days, there will be one class each week. I said it, but it didn't connect like it was a class. There will be one class at the beginning of each week that intimates us with the details of what we're going to write, how to write a short film, for example. We're not doing that tomorrow. We're just looking at how to write generally. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Monday, the class will be how to write a short film. And the assignment for the week will be to write 2 short films during the course of the week. Yeah, so I think we've done well tonight. In closing, any questions? Is there anybody who has any specific questions you'd want us to talk about? Elo, can we get samples of short film, web series, etc., so we can go through and see how it looks? Sure, I'll post some links. I'll post some links in the group. Okay. I enjoy using 1 minute, 60-second short films. Why? It's easy to watch. It's easy to analyze from beginning to the end. You can watch it 4 or 5 times just to get it. But if it was a feature-length film, you probably will not even finish it. And if you do, you will not get all there is to get in it. So yes, for the purpose of our class, we will take a look at some films. I'll post them by the end of the day. Short films there will be 1 minute max, 2 minute short films. I'd expect you to watch it before class tomorrow, and then we'll pick it up from there. Okay, people. Uncle Ganiyu, you are thanking me for the class that has not ended. Just make sure you rewatch this video. Make sure you watch it to catch up on any parts of it that you miss. Okay. All right. So, hello, Zion, Miss Rachel. Any questions before we sign off for today? Not only the clip, but how it is written. Yeah, we'll get to the part of how it's written too. Yeah. How about on YouTube? Any questions? No questions on YouTube. 5 people watching. Okay, nice.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
I would say I'm a bit sorry. I've been distracted so long along the line. So, but
It's fine.
I've tried following. Please, I will
right.
look over the whole thing all over. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. All right, sir. All right, Madam Elo, thank you too for coming. Zion, I've not heard from you at all today. Are you sure you just didn't leave your phone on? You go somewhere, go cook soup. Zion, I'm suspecting you're in the kitchen and you're not in class. Because class has finished and you did not one word from you today. Miss Rachel, any questions? Or are you two doing babysitting? Obviously, these beautiful people are not online. It's fine. Elo, thank you very much for coming tonight. Mr. Ganil, it was a pleasure to have you. Miss Rachel, whenever you see this, it was a pleasure to have you.
Sir.
Zion. Okay. So we'll be signing out at this juncture. Good night and God bless you. YouTube people, we are signing out. Anybody with questions on YouTube before we finally end the class? Anybody? All right. Thank you very much for today's class. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.